Jump in. What's good, everybody? Happy New Comic Book Day. Welcome to another FEPIC New Comic Book Day show. If you have not already, show me some love. Do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, and follow. Whatever platform you're on, I appreciate it. But if you're watching on Facebook, in the description after you watch this episode, there's a link. Hit that link, it'll take you to the YouTube. Please subscribe and hit the bell so you know when we go live. IG, same story. It's always the same story. IG's down here, they're high and tight on the book. So if you guys are looking for a different view, a little less of this, a little more of this, slide over to IG. That's at FEPIC_. And while you're there, subscribe and hit the bell so you know when we go live. Okay. What happens on the first week after a month where we had 5 new comic book days is ultimately things look like they obviously took what would have been a big week 4 release, excuse me, at the end of May and kind of just split it in half and was like, you know what, this is what we'll do, excuse me, big first week release in June. And instead they cut it in half and shifted about like maybe half those titles, because last week was a really small week. This week kind of felt the same, and that's definitely from an indie perspective. You know, if you tuned into anything FEPIC here, we lean heavily on the indie titles because there's just so much more to jump into, right? But this week, as well as last week, heavy on the DC, heavy on the Marvel. Not a problem. We're gonna jump into all of it. Okay, let's go. What's good, Jake? Thanks for hanging out. What's good, Joseph? Appreciate you guys kicking it. If you guys have not already, do me a favor, drop a share, drop a tag, show the love. Okay, where'd my pile go? I had it all organized. We do the same thing, the same spiel every week. So we're gonna start with the FEPIC indie title of the week. This week comes from John Layman and Jock, an artist out of, oh my goodness. He's an artist out of, before I say the wrong country, Uruguay. An artist out of Uruguay. Cool story, John Layman was traveling South America just before the start of the pandemic, and first met Jock, saw his work, really was digging it, but because of the time, he just did not have a window where he thought he would be able to collab. Fast forward a couple years, here we are, Image, John Layman, Jock, In Hell We Fight, issue number 1. This is your FEPIC Indie of the week. Yes, it is a FEPIC Indie for multiple reasons, okay? One, great little story, okay? It involves multiple characters who have all died, okay? Some of those characters, we get to see how they ended up in hell, right? Others will probably get a little bit more backstory as we go. But it is very much kind of the ragtag crew coming together and going on an adventure. Don't want to give away too much because I'm going to dive into this a little bit more on this coming week's episodes of FEPIC Coffee Sessions. If you guys have not tuned into those, a lot of fun, be sure to do so. But in the meantime, because of this has all kinds of potential. This screams option me, not for a film either. I would love to see this as a show. Again, I'm only one issue in, but it's speaking to me already, right? Swoop that up. In Hell We Fight, issue number 1. In the meantime, I'm gonna remove that. Silver Surfer, issue number 11. Proper. I appreciate the share, man. I appreciate that. Good to see you as well. I'll be able to tune in someday. Life is hectic, man. It's always hectic. But even if you're multitasking, I appreciate it. Life comes at you fast. That's why you got to tune in and subscribe to the YouTube. So you can't catch us live, which we're here live every Wednesday for New Comic Book Day, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But if you can't catch us live, just go to the YouTube. Check out the past episodes. Swoop up books from this week, last decade, etc. Okay, on to the next. Let's go with, okay, interaction time. It's time for the FEPIC covers of the week. Yes, there's usually like 10 of them, and it takes me forever to narrow it down to 2. This week was actually a little bit easier. Which I guess my pocketbook appreciates, but at the same time, I'll have to go and do that. Yeah, definitely. But at the same time, still worth it. There were some great options. I still had to sit there and stare at like, I think it was like 7 different covers where I'm like, okay, you and you, okay? All right, so let's start with the first option, okay? Again, you guys gotta help me out and let me know of the 2 covers I've got for you, which do you like more? Which is the FEPIC cover of the week? Option number 1, and it is an indie and a lot of fun. Freddie Williams II's Street Fighter and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 1. I mean, this was gonna get swooped up either way. The cover A, of course, but the Freddie Williams the 2nd, right? Can't be disrespectful, gotta get that junior in there. This cover goes. Absolutely goes. Love it. All right, so there's your option number 1, and it kind of speaks for itself. What's going on in the Turtles in the street? It is what you think it is. They have to meet, they have to fight, then they have to have a conversation, and then we'll go from there. We'll see what happens in issue number 2. But let me know in the comments. That's your first option, okay? Ooh. And replacing Far Sector, issue number 1. Y'all should have been swooping this up a long time ago. It's still available, obviously, it's out there. But this Far Sector run in the first appearance of Sojourner and obviously a new Green Lantern, etc., was a great read. Not to mention, continues the uptick in terms of price in the aftermarket. That is your 2nd print. You could swoop that up for $35. So, okay. On to the 2nd option for this week's FEPIC cover of the week. Oh, Stanley Lau, also known as Artgerm. This is your Batman 136 Artgerm. Love me an Artgerm. So you've got the cardstock cover B. There also is a 1 in 50 foil of this. If I could get my hands on it, I might appreciate it. Like I said, big fan of Artgerm. Swoop that up. But before you do, let me know in the comments which cover is hotter, all right? Which is more FEPIC, all right? You've got your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Street Fighter crossover, or you've got your Batman 136, which we're gonna talk a little bit more about. We basically, if you haven't been reading Batman, the ongoing with Chip Zdarsky's run right now, perfect time to jump in. 136, basically, we're starting a new arc. Bats has returned from his kind of like multiverse jump around thing that was going on this last arc. A lot of fun. Some people liked it, some people didn't. I enjoyed Chip Zdarsky. I'm always on board. But this is the perfect time to jump into a Bats title. Starting fresh, okay? Starting fresh. That's replacing a classic early bronze Superman. What is that? Superman 261. Okay. Might have to do that. I appreciate it. Oh, look at Facebook telling me to get stars. Well, you know, now that I'm here, Facebook, if you're hanging out with me, if you're hanging out kicking it, I appreciate you. You want to show the love? Send me some stars. Apparently they're telling me I should ask for stars. You want to support the show aside from just subscribing and hitting the bell so you know when we go live? Send me some stars. Okay. Let's get on to, where are we at? The FEPIC first. Okay. First issue, premiere issue. All right, so we are on to our FEPIC premiere issue of the week. This is, man, there was some options this week. We had some dope number ones. hit. But I'm always a sucker. I'm always a sucker for when Liefeld's on the pen and we get more Deadpool. This is a Deadpool Batter Blood, issue number 1. Let's hit you with a little horizontal Scotty Young variant. Love it, absolutely love it. And we also have kind of a big deal here. We're getting a first cameo in the very back there. That's Shatterstar. So if you have not swooped up a copy of Deadpool Batter Blood issue number 1, you know the rules. You know the rules. If you need me to reapply said rules, here we go. At FEPIC, we always swoop first appearances. Always swoop first appearances. Even if you just gotta throw it in the box and forget about it, so be it. But make sure if you're gonna grab a first appearance, you got at least a copy of the cover A. Market wise, that's always where it's gonna be. Sure, some variants are gonna hit, right? Some are gonna hit. Some, because of who they are, already have a market just because there's just such a fandom, you know, the Scotties, the Peaches, the Artgerms, there are specific names that you guys hear me go on about every week where I'm like, well, this is going to the PC. This was a cover buy. This was a cover buy. This cover buy too, but gotta have those first appearances, guys. First appearance of Shatterstar. Swoop that up, only fitting. It's going in place of a Silver Age X-Men issue number 24. Let's take it back to 1964, 65? 65 or 66? 65, I think. Great looking copy. You could swoop that up for 35 bucks. Again, if you guys see something you like, you know what to do. Claim it, bin it, swoop it, whatever term you want to use in the comments. If there's something you're looking for in particular that you did not see during the FEPIC New Comic Book Day show, hit us up. Either it's sitting right here on the side, we just didn't get to it, or we can roll out into the wild and find it for you. Okay. Next up on the list, let's go to the FEPIC Key of the Week. Always. We just actually talked about a key. You know, these are little baby keys, right? They're always just baby keys, but keys are keys. Swoop, whoop, 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 whoop. Any title, we've told you before, any Star Wars title that drops, if there is a first appearance, a cameo, a mention, whatever, it is always advised that you swoop. This is your first appearance of Dr. Cuata, as well as the first appearance of an unknown female Sith. In this week's issue, Star Wars, issue number 35 from Charles Soule. Worth the swoop. Worth the swoop. Again, rules that we follow, not to mention, Star Wars has been a lot of fun. This has been a lot of fun. Did I just unmute somebody? I did. There you are. Swoop. Yeah, first appearance Dr. Cuata, first appearance of the unknown Sith, female Sith. For now, I'm gonna pull that. That was your FEPIC Indie of the Week. In Hell We Fight. Okay, I don't need these here. You guys can go set aside. Next up, haven't talked a lot about some indies. Let's go Mad Cave. This is You've Been Canceled from Kurt Pyers and Kevin Castanero. You've Been Canceled, issue number 1. Swoop. That's funny. Okay. All right. Next up, the FEPIC Key of the Week. We just got through that. Okay. Let's go with the FEPIC Panel of the Week from Charles Soule, who was just recently on the scribe for Daredevil. Now over to Chip Zdarsky, who's been slaying it. absolutely slaying it. This last year and a half, it's possibly one of my favorite, if not favorite, Marvel ongoing titles. Just where we went with Elektra, Matt in jail, then having to deal with the Punisher, the Hand, etc. It's been a lot of fun, right? Fast forward, we're here, issue number 12. Okay, Daredevil issue number 12. But let me hit you with the panel. Not only is the cover absolutely gorgeous, but Michael Chechetto and Dan Wilson, I think it's Dan Wilson. Matthew Wilson have continued to just outdo themselves. The interior work in this book just continues to shine. I'm just going to give you a quick little preview here, but that is actually not the panel of the week. Let's get to it. It's gorgeous. Here we go. That is your FEPIC panel of the week. A gorgeous embrace and kiss before, I don't want to give away too much, but they gonna duke it out. They gonna duke it out. We might be getting back to a little bit of a divide, okay? But again, Chip Zdarsky and Chechetto and Wilson have just absolutely knocked each issue out the park. If you guys have not taken the time to jump into Daredevil, do not be intimidated that it's sitting at issue 12. This is actually another opportunity, great opportunity, just like Zdarsky's Batman title right now on issue 136. Doesn't matter. Great starting point to jump in with a new arc. Make it so. Make it so. Daredevil, issue number 12. Nope. Nope, nope. Swoop. Okay, there is your loud cover. Okay, okay. Where'd it go? Did we not put it out? Some B. Some B. There you are. Okay. All right. We more recently added the FEPIC. Oh wow, that got stuck. That got stuck and that hurt right here in my innards. The classic swoop of the week, right? So every new comic book day, of course, I'm gonna swoop up my new comic book day titles, but you can't go into a comic book shop and just swoop up the new releases. You also gotta go hit the back stock, right? You gotta see maybe the new additions to the back issues, right? There's always, you know, a good comic book shop's always gonna have some kind of like wall, right? A wall of goodness that isn't just the new hits. This is where these come from, okay? This is Marvel Comic Presents Wolverine, issue number 72. Yes, that is your first Weapon X. Crispy looking issue. Crispy looking issue. I mean, you're gonna start seeing a lot more of the Wolverine and of course Deadpool, but Wolverine chatter start picking back up as we get closer to the release of Deadpool 3. Hit us with the trailer, please. But in the meantime, swoop these up between this as well as, what am I thinking of? Wolvie 88, right? The first duel between Deadpool and Marvel, and Wolvie. Swoop them, swoop them. Right now, you can swoop that up for 20 bucks. 20 bucks, yours. How fitting. I'm just gonna leave you right there. Okay. We got through the FEPICs. We got through the FEPICs. All right, let's keep it pushing onto some other titles that dropped this week. One of which I was also like pretty much, it fought to make the list. It fought to make the key of the week. This is DC's Steelworks issue number 1. Not only am I geeked because I'm a big fan of Steel, right? John Irons and whatnot. But this is written by Michael Dorn. I feel like that's all I should have to say. But because no one is the Trek nerd that I am usually. Michael Dorn is Worf. He plays Worf, right? He also voices, You know how many animated characters this man has voiced over? It's insane. Okay, I mean, he is the voice of Steel as well. So like, it was perfect. Anyways, swoop this up. Steelworks issue number 1. There's I believe a couple different first appearances in this. Not to mention, you're introduced to a new villain, Silver Mist. We don't see Silver Mist in Silver Misty action or whatever, but you get to introduce to the man who will eventually become Silver Mist. You know the rules. That means multiple first appearances. Swoop it up. Steelworks issue number 1. Swoop, swoop. You know what to do in the comments. Be like, I need that. And I say, okay, that's yours. We've already talked about this Deadpool issue number 1. That is your cover A from Liefeld. Batter Blood issue number 1. Again, your first cameo appearance of Shatterstorm. Set that right there for meow. All right, next up, we'll go back-to-back indies. We're gonna go back-to-back indies. First from Matt Kent and Taylor Jenkins. Dark Horse doesn't have a lot of titles, man. Dark Horse is struggle busting. I don't know what's gonna happen with them. You know, they've lost so many properties. Not to mention, obviously, the company sold more recently to an overseas holdings company. I don't actually fully know. It was a gaming company, but either way, I'm not sure what's going on with Dark Horse. I'm still a big fan. I really hope they figure out some ways to turn things around. They still are dropping some great stories, but I mean, whew. Anyways, okay, here we are. Fast forward. Hairball issue number 3. Hairball issue number 3. I've talked about this every single issue. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've featured it. It's made the FEPIC list each issue. Probably first premiere issue, and then probably FEPIC indie issue for issue number 2. Now, issue number 3 did not make the FEPIC list this week, but it was still a good read, especially with the cliffhanger we were left with on issue number 2. I still highly recommend y'all picking this up. This would make for a great flick, okay? A great flick. This is Hairball issue number 3 from Matt Kent and Dark Horse Comics. Also, another indie title that it's gonna stay at the top for me. I'm truly enjoying this. While we've had the same writer every issue, we've had a different visual creative team jump on each issue. From Mark Miller and this week Matteo Scalera, this is Ambassadors issue number 6. Ambassadors issue number 6. Again, over the course of the last few issues, we've been introduced, we get the whole picture of the story in terms of a company has created the ability to gift 6 individuals superpowers, right? And more or less, we're finding these individuals from different parts of the world, and we're learning a bit more about their backstory, as well as kind of the crisis at hand. There's more to it, right? But oh my goodness, this would make for such a dope show. Such a dope show. Ambassadors, issue number 6. Swoop. And if you're just now watching an episode of FEPIC, right? Anything FEPIC related, and you see a title, and I'm like, this is issue number 3, this is issue number 4. Check out Daredevil issue number 12, right? Yeah, that can be a little intimidating, but guess what? I can help you fill in those back issues. All you gotta do is let me know. Be like, you know what? I'm actually really interested in Ambassadors. Do you think you can help me acquire the back runs of issues 1 through 5? And I'll be like, well, on this specific title, well, issue number 1 is going to be difficult, at least on first print, because there's already been a subsequent print and a 3rd print, because that's how hard this title goes. But you know what? I will hit the wild and find one for you. And then sure, yeah, 2 through 5, I got you. No issues whatsoever. It could be that simple. It could be that simple. You all just got to let me know. Okay. Perfect. Next up. This was just a collection, but I wanted to grab it and throw it out there regardless, because I love Joker covers. And this was one of the, if not the Joker cover of last year. This was like, I had this out during Christmas time because how could you not? But this is the Joker Uncovered issue number 1, and more or less it is a collection of Fepic Joker covers. All right. Swoop. All right, next up, I left this one out of the bag and board because normally you see me bag and board as we go, but we're trying to consolidate things a little bit more here the next couple episodes while I try to get my content a little bit more organized, okay? So sprint with me, all right? Next up, didn't throw this in the bag and board, as I had said, but I wanted to give a quick shout out to everybody on this book, okay? This is the DC Milestone Initiative. This is more or less a new talent, it says it right on the freaking book, new talent showcase, okay? This is a new talent showcase, and why is it important to grab these? 1, to show support to all the young up and coming, but 2, you don't know who's getting picked up. You don't know out of all these folks that are tied to this book, we got some heat inside here. We got some heat inside here, right? And there's first appearances, there's introductions to new characters and new worlds. You want to swoop these up. One, to show the support and the love to the upcoming talent in the industry, because it is a very tough industry to break into as from a creative standpoint. But at the same time, that early work, you know what I mean? That early work from any of those folks. Now, there are so many names on here. Y'all should swoop up a copy. I only have 2 more copies of this. This is not one I had a bunch of, right? Big old book too. Big old square bound book for only $4. Swoop! Swoop that up. Okay. Next up, we had another first appearance. It was a busy week. Like I said, there were things that I had to actually think about. While the covers were a little bit easier to sift through, there were multiple titles with multiple first appearances, and that's tough. So this probably would have made the Fepic list on other weeks, but this week, not so much. All right, from Dan Abnett and Damian Chechetto, this is Groot, issue number 2. Why you want to swoop up Groot issue number 2? 1, it's a story of a younger Groot, so like adorableness and just endearingness and all the good stuff. But you also get a first appearance of Oggs. Who is Oggs? Oggs is the monster that pretty much he destroyed Groot's homeworld. So we've never seen him on the page, man. You know what to do. That's a first. Swoop it up. Groot issue number 2 from Dan Abnett. Swoop, swoop. Okay, let's go on to the next. Let's go Milestone. I always try to grab Milestone issues, right? Just because a lot of times they're usually a bigger book. There's usually multiple stories, more creative approach. And at the same time, sometimes I grab it because it's a character I might not be currently grabbing the ongoings, but I'm always gonna love. And that, my folks, is any incarnation of Flash. Here we are. This is Flash issue number 800, right? Freaking 800. Legacy 800. Not to mention a bunch of covers dropped this week for this. Obviously, I had to go with the DNA your David Nakamura. Just clean yet poppin', right? Clean yet poppin'. This was also on like the short list for the Fepic covers of the week, okay? But we are where we're at. Here we are, DNA. That is your Flash issue number 800. And I only have 2 copies of that. So swoop that up. What do we got on that? It is a bigger book, $6. Swoop, swoop. That's the card stock. Okay, next Let's go with Spidey. All right, we're back over to Dan Slott and Bagley's Spider-Man. Why they're not doing ASM, I bring them back. This has been a lot of fun. Spider-Man issue number 9. Yes, it continues with the arc of Electro, but at the same time, you're also getting your third full appearance of Spider-Boy. He's still all up in the mix. All up in the mix. A lot of fun. Great pacing. Swoop it up. Spider-Man. Okay. And what? Will it get quiet? It get quiet on me? Let's go with that. Okay. Next up, another title I told you guys to jump into only if you're trying to have a good time. Only if you're trying to have a good time. If you watch the show, you're gonna love this. If you didn't watch the show, but you're a fan of the character, man, y'all need to be jumping into this. This is Peacemaker Tries Hard, issue number 2 from Kyle Stark, Steve Pugh, and Jordi Belair. Trying even harder now. Yeah, hilarious. A lot of fun. I'll just leave it at that. Jump in, swoop that up, and on that note, we'll save a couple of these here. Let's end it on a Ross cover, because Ross is just, you know, near and dear to the heart, one of the all-time favorites. Not to mention, y'all should be jumping into this Fantastic Four ongoing. This is Fantastic Four issue number 8, The Case of the Mystery Menace. This feels old school, does it not? This feels old school, and I'm for it. I love a classic vibe when it comes to Fantastic Four. Not to mention an Alex Ross cover, absolutely gorgeous. Always worth the swoop. I think it feels weird not having saying his name now, like every week, now that we've wrapped up the Alex Ross Timeless Villain variants. So, you know, when the Fantastic Four drops, gotta swoop. Gotta get my Ross fix. I mean, I was gonna swoop it either way because Fantastic Four is always a good read, right? But still worth it, even if it was just a cover buy for you, okay? All right, y'all, that is gonna do it for this week's episode of the FEPIC New Comic Book Day show for June 7th. Oh my God, time be flying. As always, I appreciate you for hanging out. If you have not already, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and follow. Drop a comment, show the love, swoop up a book. And if there's something in particular you're looking for, again, that you did not see during this episode, first things first, slide over to the YouTube. Check out the past content. It might already be on there. And then if you do not see it on the past content, man, just DM the page. We got you, all right? As always, y'all stay safe out there, and we will see you soon, okay? Check you later.